Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to, it could be the Tuesday morning briefing, I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm actually filming this on Monday now. As you know, over the weekend we had a few internet issues caused by Storm Eunice, which was on the back of Storm Dudley, which has then, we've had Storm Franklin, and then we could be having Storm Gladys. So we could end up having 4 named storms in 8 days. So luckily we haven't sustained any damage at all, which has been really good. Although we did lose the internet for a while. Hey ho, we can cope with that. But yeah, it's just been absolutely crazy. Lots of people very close by have lost barns, have lost power for days. It's been completely crazy. Luckily we live right on the very top of a hill, and I think what's happened is the storm direction, the wind direction has come up the hill over the top of our house and then kind of down the other side, so we have been super lucky. But I was going to film on Saturday, but the wind and the rain just beating over the window, I don't think you would have been able to hear me, and the same probably was true for yesterday. So anyway, I'm filming today. It's half term, so I've got daylight, which is something I just never normally get to film in daylight, and I'm actually going to try and film 2 floss tubes today. One to release straight away, which is going to be this one, and one which I'm going to release on Sunday for my normal Sunday morning briefing, which is actually going to be a whip parade. We've got some friends coming to stay with us as of Wednesday, which is Ness's birthday. So we've got some friends coming to stay with us, so I won't be able to film, and I'm frantically tidying things up, piling things up, trying to make things look less cluttered, reducing my projects down to something that I might be able to stitch on while they're here. It's my best friend Lindsay, so she won't mind if I do a little bit of stitching, but I just want to have some kind of like monochrome or fill-in stuff to do, so I'm not sat there with like a full plethora of charts and things like that. So I have 3 finishes to share with you. I have got a new start, some fabric dyeing that I've been doing, some lovely stitchy kindness, some haul, all the usual good stuff. Now I'm going to share the freebie to begin with. Mainly because our printer has decided that enough is enough. It asked for new printer cartridges. I put new printer cartridges in, and by way of giving me the bird, it then decided it was only going to print in 2 colours. So I've no idea what's the matter with the darn thing. But the chart that I found is this lovely chart by The Drawn Thread. And actually, I forgot to look up who it was, I'm sorry. He sent me a message saying, oh, have I seen The Drawn Thread? And I've seen The Drawn Thread freebie charts before, but I took another look at them. And the reason I picked this one out is because it's got really good diagrams to show you how to do lots and lots of different specialty stitches, and you can practice your specialty stitches on just one small little pillow, which I thought was really nice. So I'll put the link for that down below. Right, what have I been stitching on? What have I finished? Now, everything is just completely in a muddle here, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of digging. My first one that I finished was this one, Threadwork Primitives. It's called Quaker Block Print, and this is what I've been doing for Winter Cross Stitch Camp, run by Sherry, the Colorado Cross Stitcher, sorry. And I just need to take a photograph of it and finished and put it on Instagram, because I've actually finished within the month. I've also no idea what's happened to my hair. There must be that much static in the air that it's gone crazy. So where is it? Is that it? That could well be it. There we go. So another needle sticking out the top. I must go around and collect up all the needles in my finished project. Take another thread off it that's not even part of the project, and give it a smooth. There we go. So this is a Quaker Block Print by Threadwork Primitives, and I've done it with Blackened Teal by Valentine. So it's one of the 6-strand Valentines, not the little balls that you might be familiar with. And this is on a piece of 36 count that I hand dyed. And you can see it's got really nice, if I can bring it over into the light, really nice kind of colour variegation within the black and teal. Now, I've left this on here for a reason, because that was all I had left from a skein. Now, I'd shown my black and teal on Instagram and I'd shown it on FlossTube, and I didn't for a second think, oh, I might need another one, and it sold out. It sold out of everywhere in the UK. In fact, no, I think I had one place that might have had one. And so I got towards the end and I didn't have enough for, there was a couple of little motifs. I think it was that one and the heart. And where I stitch on my chair, that was it, that was the skein gone. Where I stitch on my chair, I thought, oh, I'm just going to check to see if anything's fallen down sort of off the arm of the chair. If I'd taken a 6 strand and then used a couple of strands or 4 strands off it, might there be just one extra length lying around? And there was. I found one length that had gone AWOL off the side of the chair, and so I was able to finish it literally with that much left. Otherwise I would have had to have done an order, and you can't just order one thread, can you? So there we go. Anyway, I've finished flashing that enough now. So that was my first finish, or a finish. I can't remember if it was the first one. It was a finish. Chuck that up there. My second finish was this one, which is Teresa Kogut's Be Merry. Now this is one of her past Patreon charts. Now, interestingly, and this might give you a bit of a boost to joining up with the Patreon. So obviously there's lots of different levels for the Patreon. You can do level 2, level 3, level 4. I did level 4 and it costs me about, I think it's either £16 or £18 a month. And for that I get 3 charts, 2 colouring pages, sometimes there's like little bonus charts, and then each month she gives you a code where you can access previous Patreon charts, so for when you weren't in Patreon. And this was where I bought this one. And a lot of her charts that Teresa's releasing at market this year have been previous Patreon charts. I recognise quite a few of them. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I really like Teresa Kogut's Patreon charts this year, market charts this year, you might very well be well suited to joining her Patreon, because, as I said, a lot of them are quite familiar. So that one. And I stitched it using a sulky conversion on a 32 count raw with a silver fleck in it. I don't know if you can pick up the silver fleck. Now I'm going to put some little beads on his feet, and I've got a little bobble for his hat there. So I haven't 100% finished it, but I'm going to mount it on a little wooden sled that I had. Now you'll see the chart had got snowflakes there. I decided to leave the snowflakes off because of the kind of sparkle of the fabric, and also where I'm going to attach it to my sled, I want to put sort of a bow or something on it, so I think the little snowflakes might just be a little bit more fussy than I want. And I think the white as well, whilst it stands out, it only really stands out in a block. Now, I've got quite a bit more of this fabric. I've got another, it was a half, it wasn't a half, it was a fat quarter that I bought. And I don't know if I enjoyed stitching on it that much. I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't really like raw fabric. So I'm sure I'll use it for little ornaments and things like that, but I don't think I would do a big piece on raw. So there was that. I finished that as well. Chuck that up there. And then the other thing that I finished was my fox. So if you remember, I've started my fox, I'd started the swans, I've now started the rabbit, and I hadn't finished anything fully. I have now finished the fox, and I've done quite a lot more on the swans as well. So if I show you the fox and the swan together. So let's get it in out of the bright sunshine. So there's the fox all finished up, and then there's, try putting it on the board, see if that will hold it a little bit flatter. Oh please, there we go, that's a bit better. There we go. So there's the fox all done, and then there's the swans. Now I've purposely left a lot of this fill in, which is either pink or white, because that'll be an ideal little job to do this week. And I've started up here with the pine cones, and I've just run a little basting line across the top, because obviously when I frame this I want all the tops to be level, just to make sure. And it's very easy to be one stitch out with coming down here, and then the place where you link the pattern really is there, and then you've got to come all the way back up here. So I just put a little basting stitch in to try and make sure that I was going to get to the same place. And I was actually one stitch out. This was one stitch lower than it should be, but it's very easy just to extend it by one stitch at the top. So that's my fox and my swans. What I think I've decided is that I don't want to get too far behind with it. So by the time the next one comes out, I want these two definitely finished. And I've started on the rabbit, and so then I'll start the next one. And so I think my limit is going to be to have the previous two finished. Otherwise I could just get so far behind with it, but I absolutely love the way it's turning out. So this is some fabric that I dyed to match the similar colours that they wanted you to have from the, or they recommended from Picture This Plus, which I knew I wouldn't be able to get, so I dyed my own. And then this is where I am on the rabbit. I forgot to bring the charts up, so I'm sure you've all seen. So there's the rabbit. There we go, that's probably a bit of a better colourway. So I've got a rabbit bum in place, and quite a lot of what I've got left there is fill in as well. Perhaps if you don't have a great thread. There we go. That was nearly embarrassing. Right, done that. What else have I worked on this week? You might be interested, or you might be thinking, well, where's that thing you said you were going to do 15 minutes on every day? So my EF sampler, I didn't show it last week and I haven't shown it this week because I haven't worked on it. Just put the threads somewhere, put the threads somewhere really safe, and I can't find them. They'll turn up when they're good and ready, but yeah, that's why I haven't been working on my EF sampler. What else have I worked on? I did quite a bit on my Not Forgotten Farm piece, which is this one, Art is Spring. And again, this is going to be an ideal project to do some work on. In fact, I'm going to take it to karate tonight. Ness has karate tonight. Because there's that dress. There's acres and acres of that dress to fill in. So I shall be doing that tonight at karate. But it's a really nice little project. I've chosen all my colours. I just went kind of completely whatever was closest to hand, really, that I thought suited it. Put that back later. Put that back later on. Right, what else have I got to show you? I've done the freebie. Oh, I've got another whip here. And I've got a squeaky chair. Now, I'm going to start at the beginning with this whip. So this whip that I've just started is by the same person, Vivienne Powers, who designed the 12 Days of Christmas. Now, she has seen that I'm stitching this, and she has offered to give away a free PDF chart. So if you would like to join in with the 12 Days of Christmas sale, so I think it's 12 days in 12 months sale, then you can grab yourself a copy of the 12 Days of Christmas chart. All you need to do in your comment somewhere is put the number 12, so 1, 2, not the written 12. And then, sorry, I was just thinking, I was going to explain again, but then I remembered on Friday we sat through, we had a bit of training on via video link, and this guy was explaining something that was really good, but I did get it the first time he said it, and so I was then going to re-explain, and I was like, it must be a teacher trait, just over-explaining. So put the number 12, see, I can't resist not doing it, put the number 12 in your comment, and you can be in chance with the winner, have a chance of winning a copy of the chart. Please be over 18, please don't say freebie or giveaway, all that usual jazz. Now, when I bought that chart from the Silk app, I bought another chart by the same lady, and she designs under the Vivsters, so I'll put all her information down below. And this is the chart that I bought as well, and I really liked it. I really liked it. I had no real plans to start it, and then Karen from Fox and Rabbit has stitched her cryptid Sal on this beautiful colour piece of fabric that Bren had dyed for her, and every time I see that piece of fabric I'm like, I just love that fabric, I just love that fabric. So at the weekend I got the rip dye out and I decided I was going to try and dye something of a similar colour to stitch this chart on. Now I'm not sure I'm going to do the alphabet underneath, but I've made a start, and this is a monochrome one, so this is going to be easy as well to do little bits and bobs. And I'm stitching it with 32 count, sorry, and I'm stitching it with sulky black. So this is where I am. I may have done slightly too big a piece of fabric, but never mind. So that's approximately half the depth of the top if I don't do the alphabet, because there's actually another 2 repeats of those, and you can see that's just going to look amazing. The reason I don't think I'm going to do the alphabet is because I think I'm going to finish it as a drum, or something similar. I don't think it would be something that I would frame, because I just love the colour of the fabric, but it's definitely more of a fun piece fabric rather than necessarily something I would frame. So I enjoyed starting on that. You can tell it hasn't been to Mama's yet because it's not been, and I had the edges done. What else have I done? So I did some other dyeing, and I'll show you what we ended up with. So I dyed this piece. Now this is a piece of even weave. Now I think this is a fabric flare even weave, and it is a totally different material, and I don't really enjoy stitching on even weave, this stuff really. It can be a bit shiny, but I had it and so I thought I'd dye it, and it really doesn't take the dye. The dye I used for this was really quite dark, and so because of the type of fabric it is, it really doesn't take the dye that well. You can't see the mottling on it. It would have looked totally different if I'd have dyed it as a linen, but it was just sat in my drawer as a white piece of fabric, so it's now a green piece of fabric. But I think I can probably find something, you can see a bit of mottling on it, find something to stitch on that. So it's better than it was, but it's still, I don't know. But then I had this other little piece. I dyed this little piece, which I'm really happy with. And this one, I think, if it fits, and I haven't checked to see whether it'll fit or not, is going to be for a bushel and a peck. I think it'll probably fit. It's not very big. Finish size 4.2 by 5 inches on 32 count. Well, I think this is a 36 count, so I think it'll probably fit on there. So that's part of my kind of springtime drive. I'm quite enjoying spring at the moment. I might do a bit more spring. This was from the 2016 spring issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and I know it's been released as a chart by Pineberry Lane. Yes, Pineberry Lane. So that's for that one. And again, it was just a little piece that was a cut off, because you can tell it's already serged. And then I dyed this piece. I remember thinking I wanted almost like a stormy blue, but I can't remember what for. So I was just in the mood to do some dyeing, so I just played around. Just did a very pale stormy blue. And then I'm sure at some point I'll remember what I wanted it for. And then I dyed this piece. Now this piece, I've ironed it once but I haven't ironed it brilliantly, is for the Nellies by Hands Across the Sea. Because the Nellies has got quite a warm yellow background. I think the called for is more of a cream, but it looks more yellow on the chart front, and I should have brought my chart front in. I'll put a picture up here. And so I wanted it to be a little bit more yellow. Now this is a 38 count because I had some white 38 count. And I'm going to do a floss toss on it. I haven't done it yet, but I've got all the fabric, all the floss. And if it doesn't work, then I will use it for either Mary Morgan's or Jane Hopkins, because they're both on quite yellowy backgrounds as well. So this is part of the St David's Day Welsh sampler sale, where I'm hoping that you might partake in a little bit of Welsh sampler stitching on St David's Day, the 1st of March. And I've already shown you the Nellies. The Nellies is a Welsh sampler. I've got 2 others to here to hand to show you. But if you go onto my Instagram, I did 3 days worth of Welsh samplers that you might be interested in, and I've still got some more to put up. So keep an eye out for those. So the Nellies, and the other 2 that I grabbed as I was busy piling things up, hiding things away, was this one, which is Anglesey. Now this is a more modern, it's a reasonably faithful reproduction actually of a true Welsh sampler, and her first name's Catherine and I can't remember her second name. I'll put it on the bottom. What does it tell me on the front back? Catherine Jones, 1866. So, and it does say on the original her name along the bottom. So when I stitch this I might try and put that back on. So she's the Welsh sampler. And then the other one that I had to hand, and once we get into March I'll maybe do, after the whip parade, I'll get some more out and we'll go through a few more, was this one, Forgery number 7, Sarah Davis. Now I got this one for Christmas because this one is a cardigan sampler from Cardigan. And I have made a little tiny start on it, but really not much to write home about. There we go. And this is a 32 count and it's stitched with the gorgeous silk fibres to die for. So, if you're interested in starting a Welsh sampler or working on a Welsh sampler on St David's Day, then please go along and have a look on my Instagram and you will find some suggestions, some more suggestions and some more suggestions. Okay, I think I'm on to haul and stitchy kindness. Literally, there must be something in the air today because my hair is crazy. I was giving a copy of this book away last week and I did put in my little public storm announcement the winner of that, and she's been in touch with me, so I'll get that in the post to you ASAP, Chris. And you might be interested to know that it's actually flattened out really nicely. If you remember, I said it had a bit of a warp to it. Yeah, it's flattened out really nicely. Now, it was Valentine's Day in the week and I was surprised. I was surprised because we don't normally do much for Valentine's Day, if anything at all. I bought him a card because I always buy him a card because I always feel a bit sad if I don't. But he's not a big card buyer. So anyway, I came down in the morning. was a bit late for my lift to work, so I was literally running through the house. And on the table was a Valentine's card and also 2 charts. So the charts were Witches and Demons Woodcut by Night Spirit Studio, which I love. And the other one, Witchcraft Woodcut, again by Night Spirit Studio. And they've just released a 3rd one, which I'll put a picture of it up there. Now, if they are the same size, might be great to have them all on the same piece of fabric. They're not too big, not too big. The first one, let me answer my own question here, 136 by 107. The second one is 136 by 107, so we could hope that the 3rd one might also be 136 by 107. And I do need to try and dye a piece of fabric for these, so that might be my next challenge, is to try and dye a piece of fabric that would suit those. So love those. We nearly went into the Dracula from Transylvania, Hotel Transylvania then. Blah 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 blah. I'm going to show you my stitchy kindness, and then I'm going to show you my little bit of haul. So sorry, I'm still moving things. Now, I was absolutely bowled over when this arrived in the post, all the way from America, because it was so lovely. And a lovely stitcher called Lisa has sent me these. So she sent me some of her floss drops as well, and I do have your address, Lisa, so I am going to send you some floss drops back. And a lovely card where she took the time to write a really lovely letter in there, so I just loved reading that. And then she sent me this, which is a little candle holder, but she says she likes to use them to put drums on the top of, which I had not thought of. So I will be keeping my eye out for one of these, or some more of these, because I've got quite a few drums and I've got several that I need to make. So how lovely is that? And it wasn't broken. It came all the way from America and it wasn't broken. Our post office at the moment, well, not post office, or should I say Yodel, are terrible. Oh, I think they just hire ex-basketball players to just hoy stuff around. But then there was this in there as well. Look at this beautiful felted pouch. And inside, it's all beautifully lined. Beautifully lined. And then there was this little card in it, which I presume is the place where it came from. So the shop was Lunar Stitch. Lunar Stitch. And I just love that little flower on there. That bright flower. So thank you so much, Lisa, for sending that to me. It really did make my day, because I limped through last week. I've no problem with telling you I limped through last week. It was just, thank goodness we had an inset day on Friday, which we ended up doing from home because of the red weather warning, which was fine. But it did mean that I had to get the top half of me dressed. Okay, a little bit of haul. Let me show you what I've got. I bought this one, Ooh La La. Now I know I said I wasn't buying charts and things like that, and I've slowed down. Like I said, this is more of a withdrawal process than a cold turkey. But there was a Blackberry Designs book that I'd been looking at getting, and it's gone out of print. And so this one is still in print, and I had been looking at getting this one as well, so I thought I would get it before it did go out of print, because that would be too hard to take two Blackberry Designs that I wanted going out of print. And then as I was tidying up, I found this one as well, and I haven't bought this one recently. I bought it a while ago, but I don't remember if I showed it to you. Honeysuckle Manor. I bought this one quite a while ago when it first came out, and there's a couple of the samplers on there, and it's filled with lots of little tiny bits and bobs I'm sure you've all seen. Could look through these for ages, but you probably don't want to see me looking through them. Okay, I also bought Rebecca Aldridge by Fox and Rabbit, and because I was doing an order with Lakeside, and I'll show you for what in a minute, I picked up some of the threads. Look at that campfire. Now, I was a big girl, and what I did was I looked on the pattern and I picked out what were the main colours, because there's quite a lot of classic colour works on there. So I picked out what were the main colours, got a couple of skeins of the ones that I thought probably would need 2 skeins, and then the rest I shall probably either substitute for other overdyes or for DMC. I love that, love that. I showed you that last week, I think. Now this is the reason that I went to Lakeside. Kate put up a post that she was putting these on with a 15% discount, and I'd been looking at this one for ages, so I got the 8-inch charcoal version as a hanger because I wanted it for my caterpillar cross stitch Deck the Halls. So there we go. I think that's the first time that you've been able to see the pale blue on that. So I got the 8-inch one. I think from memory, this, with the count and everything that I'm stitching this on, it's about 7. So by the time I've got there you go, you can't get it all in. By the time I've got a border, you know, a stitchy border and stuff on that, not a stitch border, but you know, a gap before I turn it into a hanging, it'll be about the right size. Now, there's not a massive amount of black in what I've sewn already, but there is, by the time I've put the snowman in with his black hat, and there's a couple of other little bits that have got some black in them, this will look fine. The other colour they had was a copper colour, but I wasn't 100% sure it would go, so I went for the black, or the charcoal. And just a couple of other little things that I got. I'm running short of needles, probably because each project that I've finished has still got about 4 in it. So I bought some more needles. So I bought 2, I like size 28 needles for everything. I bought 2 packs of Peacemakers, which I know I really like. And I also bought some Mary Arden Petites. I've had Petites before, but I've never had Mary Arden Petites. So they are very small. But there we go. And then the last thing I bought was a skein of Classic Colourworks Rainy Day. And when it arrived, I was like, I didn't order that. Why did I order that? And it's true, I did order it, but I ordered it just because I liked it. It wasn't for a project or anything. Because that's just the way I roll sometimes. Oops. Right, that's it from me. I will be seeing you pretty soon, as in, like in 10 minutes. I might leave it till later actually. And as I said, I'm going to do a whip parade. And then, yeah, I'll release that at the weekend. I always know when it's time to finish because I start to waffle. So that's me. Stay classy, stitchers. Take care.